Ladies and gentlemen, life is full of subtle, beautiful moments, often unnoticed yet deeply impactful. Relationships thrive on the intricate details that we often overlook. And it is these small gestures, these seemingly insignificant acts, that reveal profound truths about human connection. In the dynamic interplay between men and women, there are tiny, endearing things, women dough habits, quirks, and expressions of affection that strike a chord in the male heart, often without them realizing why. This isn't about grand displays or dramatic gestures. It's about the quiet magic of authenticity and vulnerability. Understanding this is to understand a core truth about relationships. It is the little things that often hold the most significance. This speech explores those heartwarming actions and offers insights into why they resonate so deeply with men. It is a journey into the psychology of affection, the power of subtlety, and the essence of genuine human connection. Watch it to deepen your understanding of what truly strengthens bonds between people and to find inspiration in the beauty of life's small, meaningful moments. Vulnerability is an extraordinary phenomenon. It's a paradoxical force that holds immense power precisely because it is rooted in openness and humility. To expose oneself to another, to allow the fragility of one's soul to be seen without the pretense of perfection, is an act of both courage and trust. When someone allows their guard to drop, even momentarily, they communicate a profound truth. I trust you with this part of me. And it is in those moments of unshielded honesty that genuine human connection finds its deepest roots. For men, this vulnerability often manifests as a quiet resonance rather than an overt reaction. They may not articulate why a woman's seemingly small, genuine act affects them so profoundly, but they feel it. It might be the way her voice softens when she speaks of something meaningful to her, revealing a depth of emotion that contrasts with the external world's rigidity. It might be in the way her eyes glisten when she shares a story, unguarded and sincere. These moments tap into something primal, something deeply human, the need to connect, to understand, and to be understood. What is fascinating is how these subtle displays of vulnerability bypass superficial interactions. They break through the noise of social performance and scripted behaviors, reminding us of the raw, unfiltered humanity we all carry. A man observing these moments isn't just responding to the gesture itself. He's responding to what it represents, a break from the transactional nature of much of modern life. It's as though he's been given a glimpse of something pure, untainted by artifice or agenda. Men are often perceived as stoic, driven by logic and duty, but this overlooks a profound truth. They are deeply emotional beings who crave intimacy and connection, even if they express it differently. When a woman shows her vulnerable side, it speaks to that part of a man that longs to protect, to nurture, to be a safe harbor for someone else's storm. It's not about dominance or control. It's about mutual refuge. It's about saying, in this moment, I see you and I value what I see. Vulnerability also has a way of softening the harshness of life. The world can be unforgiving, with its endless demands and unrelenting expectations. But when a woman allows herself to be seen, truly seen, it reminds a man of what he's fighting for. It reminds him that there is something worth striving toward beyond the grind of daily existence. In that simple, honest moment, she becomes a symbol of hope, a reminder of beauty amidst chaos. The subtlety of vulnerability is what makes it so powerful. It's not loud or demanding. It doesn't seek attention or validation. It's in the little things, the way her hand lingers just a second longer during a touch, the fleeting look of uncertainty when she's unsure of herself but trusts him enough to show it, or the quiet laugh that escapes when she lets her guard down. These are not grand gestures, but they carry weight because they are authentic. They're not rehearsed. They're real. And in their realness, they invite a man to respond with his own authenticity. What's striking is how these moments of vulnerability often come without intention. They are spontaneous, arising naturally in the flow of interaction, and perhaps that's what makes them so impactful. They're not calculated or performed, they are glimpses into the true self. For a man, recognizing and cherishing these moments can be transformative. It allows him to see beyond the surface, to connect with the depth of another's humanity. At its core, vulnerability is an invitation. It's a silent question that asks, "Can I trust you with this?" And when that question is met with acceptance rather than judgment, something remarkable happens. Bonds are strengthened and walls begin to crumble. This is not an easy thing to achieve, especially in a world that often rewards guardedness and self-preservation. But it is worth the effort because the rewards are immeasurable. There is also an element of mutuality in this dynamic. When one person shows vulnerability, it often inspires the other to do the same. It creates a space where both parties can be themselves without fear of rejection. For men, this can be particularly liberating. Society often conditions them to suppress their emotions, to equate vulnerability with weakness. But when a woman demonstrates that vulnerability is not only acceptable but cherished, it gives him permission to embrace his own. In the end, vulnerability is a gift. It is a bridge between souls, a way of saying, "Here I am, flaws and all. Can we walk this path together?" It is in these moments that relationships find their foundation not in perfection, but in the willingness to be imperfect together. Men may not always articulate their appreciation for these gestures, but they feel it deeply. It resonates in a way that words often cannot capture. These little acts of vulnerability, whether it's a moment of doubt, a heartfelt laugh, or a quiet confession, are the threads that weave the fabric of connection. They are reminders that we are all human, all searching for meaning, and all longing to be seen for who we truly are. In embracing this truth, we not only strengthen our relationships, but also enrich our own lives, finding beauty in the simplicity of being genuine. Playfulness is a unique and often underestimated aspect of human connection. It's a quality that transcends age, status, or circumstance, and it reveals something deeply fundamental about who we are. At its core, playfulness is an expression of joy, creativity, and openness. It is the willingness to let go of the rigidity of life's routines and allow spontaneity to breathe fresh energy into a relationship. For men, this playful spirit in women often touches a part of themselves that they might not always access easily, a part that longs for lightness and freedom amidst the weight of responsibility. There is something profoundly disarming about a woman who can bring a moment of levity into an otherwise serious situation. A mischievous smile, a teasing remark, or an unexpected burst of laughter can cut through tension and remind us of the beauty of simply being alive. It's not just about making jokes or being funny, it's about the attitude behind those actions. Playfulness signals a kind of vitality, a refusal to be entirely subdued by the hardships of life. It is a reminder that even in the midst of struggles, there is room for joy and connection. Men are often drawn to this quality because it awakens a sense of adventure within them. Life, for all its responsibilities and demands, can sometimes feel like a series of endless tasks. In the midst of this, encountering someone who invites them to laugh, to let loose, and to rediscover the pleasure of the moment can feel like a breath of fresh air. It's not about shirking responsibilities, but about finding a way to embrace both the gravity and the lightness of life. Playfulness acts as a counterweight, preventing the seriousness of existence from becoming overwhelming. What makes this dynamic even more powerful is that playfulness often creates a space where vulnerability feels safe. Laughter, after all, is a universal language. It breaks down walls, dissolves pretenses, and allows people to connect on a deeper level without the need for words. When a woman exhibits playfulness, she communicates a subtle but powerful message. It's okay to be yourself here. You don't have to perform or pretend. For men who may feel the pressure to constantly prove themselves in other areas of life, this can be profoundly liberating. Playfulness also has a way of nurturing intimacy. It fosters a sense of shared experience, creating memories that become the foundation of a strong relationship. Think of the inside jokes that only the two of you understand, the spontaneous dance in the kitchen, or the playful banter that turns an ordinary moment into something extraordinary. These instances of shared joy become touchstones, reminders of the connection you've built together. They are the moments you look back on and smile, even years later. For a man, experiencing this kind of playfulness from a woman often brings out his own playful nature. It's as if her lightheartedness gives him permission to step out of the rigid roles he might occupy elsewhere. In her presence, he can rediscover the part of himself that still marvels at the world, that still finds wonder in the small things. This is not a trivial or superficial thing. On the contrary, it's deeply significant because it taps into something essential about human nature, the need to balance work with play, effort with ease. What's remarkable is how playfulness often arises in the most unexpected moments. It might be a funny face made during a serious conversation or an impromptu game that breaks out during a quiet evening. These moments are not planned or orchestrated. They are spontaneous expressions of joy. And it is this spontaneity that makes them so impactful. They remind us that life is not always about control or predictability. Sometimes it's about embracing the unexpected and finding delight in the unplanned. This quality also carries an element of trust. To be playful is to take a risk, to open yourself up to the possibility of looking foolish or being misunderstood. When a woman displays playfulness, she's essentially saying, I trust you enough to share this part of myself with you. And for a man, this act of trust can be deeply moving. It encourages him to reciprocate, to let down his own guard, and join her in the shared experience of joy. The beauty of playfulness is that it doesn't fade with time. While passion and intensity may ebb and flow in a relationship, the ability to laugh together, to find humor in life's absurdities, remains a constant source of connection. It's a reminder that no matter what challenges you face, there will always be room for lightness and laughter. It's a way of saying, we're in this together, and we'll find a way to make even the difficult moments bearable. Playfulness is not just about having fun. It's about fostering a sense of connection that goes beyond words. It's about creating an environment where both people feel free to be themselves, to explore, and to grow together. For men, this quality in women often serves as a reminder of what makes life worth living, the simple, joyful moments that bring color and meaning to our days. And for both, it becomes a source of strength, a wellspring of energy that sustains them through the trials of life. There's a quiet magic in the way small gestures can communicate profound affection. It's not the grand declarations or the sweeping acts of devotion that define the depth of a relationship, though those have their place. Instead, it's the subtle, often unnoticed actions that carry the weight of genuine connection. These are the small things women do that men secretly cherish, gestures that speak directly to the heart without the need for words. They may seem insignificant to the world, but within the private sphere of a relationship, they hold a transformative power. Consider the act of remembering. When someone recalls your preferences, your quirks, or even the smallest details about your day, it conveys a profound sense of being seen and valued. For a man, when a woman takes the time to know him on that level, it cuts through the layers of armor that life often necessitates. It's not just about recalling facts. It's about demonstrating attentiveness, care, and a genuine interest in who he is. Something as simple as preparing his favorite drink without asking or recalling a story he shared weeks ago can resonate deeply. It says, I notice you, I care. Then there is the warmth of physical affection, not in grand or overt displays, but in the quiet, understated moments. The way she might place her hand on his arm when she's talking, lean her head on his shoulder during a moment of stillness, or absent-mindedly fix his hair. These gestures are imbued with a kind of intimacy that transcends words. They remind him that love is not always something spoken, it's something lived, something felt in the smallest acts of closeness. It's an affirmation of connection that says, "You matter to me, and I want to be near you." Another cherished quality is the ability to create a sense of home. It's not about physical spaces or material possessions, but about an atmosphere of feeling. A woman who fosters a sense of peace, warmth, and safety in her presence offers a man something invaluable. The world is a chaotic, demanding place, filled with challenges that require constant energy and focus. But when he's with someone who can create a sanctuary from that chaos, it becomes a source of renewal. Whether it's the way she listens, the way she organizes shared moments, or simply the way she makes him feel understood, this sense of home is something men often hold close to their hearts. Humor is another unassuming yet powerful gesture. A shared laugh, especially one that arises from the intricacies of a relationship, strengthens the bond between two people. When a woman can bring humor into everyday life, whether through a well-timed joke, a playful tease, or a shared moment of absurdity, it injects vitality into the relationship. It shows that she can find joy even in the mundane, and that she wants to share that joy with him. Men appreciate this not only because it lightens their spirits, but because it reflects a resilient and optimistic outlook on life. The way she encourages and supports him in his pursuits is another profound gesture. This is not about blind admiration or praise, but about a thoughtful, intentional belief in his potential. When she notices his efforts, acknowledges his progress, and offers encouragement without judgment, it has a profound impact. For many men, the sense of being respected and supported by someone they admire is deeply affirming. It inspires confidence and fuels their desire to achieve not just for themselves, but for the relationship as a whole. And yet, it's not only the supportive gestures that resonate, but also the moments of challenge. A woman who is unafraid to push back, to question, and to encourage growth is someone who holds a man to his highest standard. These moments of challenge are not antagonistic. They are rooted in care. They reflect her belief that he is capable of more and her commitment to seeing him reach his potential. Men may not openly express how much they value this, but deep down, they respect and cherish a partner who holds them accountable in a way that is both firm and loving. What ties all of these gestures together is their authenticity. The small things that men love are not calculated or performed. They are natural extensions of who a woman is. It's the sincerity behind the actions that gives them meaning. A spontaneous smile, an unexpected compliment, or even a moment of vulnerability shared, these are not things that can be forced. They arise from genuine connection, and it's that authenticity that makes them so powerful. These small gestures also carry a sense of reciprocity. When a man feels cared for in these ways, it inspires him to return the same kind of love and attention. Relationships thrive on this mutual exchange, where both individuals are attuned to each other's needs, desires, and unspoken emotions. The small things become a language of their own, a way of communicating love that goes beyond words. It's the accumulation of these small gestures that builds the foundation of a lasting relationship. They create a sense of trust, intimacy, and shared joy that sustains a couple through life's inevitable challenges. Men may not always articulate their appreciation for these gestures, but they feel their impact deeply. They are reminders of what it means to be loved, to be understood, and to be seen not as an ideal, but as a person, flaws and all. These seemingly insignificant actions are not small at all. They are the threads that weave the fabric of a meaningful relationship, the moments that become memories, and the expressions of love that remain long after the words have faded. They are the little things that matter most. In the intricate dance of relationships, there is a delicate yet profound beauty in the subtle exchanges that pass between two people. These are the moments often unnoticed by the outside world, but they hold immense significance for those within the bond. When a woman does something as seemingly trivial as taking interest in the things that captivate a man's imagination, it forms a bridge between two individual worlds. This is not about losing oneself in another's interests or pretending to care out of obligation. Rather, it is about a genuine curiosity, a willingness to explore and embrace what brings joy or meaning to someone else. Imagine a scenario where a man is deeply passionate about something's favorite music, a hobby, or a particular intellectual pursuit. For him, these are not just pastimes, they are expressions of his identity, pieces of the puzzle that make him who he is. When a woman takes the time to step into that world, to ask thoughtful questions, to show enthusiasm, or to even partake in that interest alongside him, it communicates something profound. It says, I see you, and I want to understand what matters to you. In those moments, she is not merely a companion. She becomes a collaborator in his journey, someone who values the essence of what makes him unique. This kind of connection fosters a powerful sense of belonging. For many men, there is an underlying fear of being misunderstood or of having their passions dismissed as trivial or unimportant. When someone they care about not only acknowledges those passions but actively engages with them, it creates a safe space where they feel free to be themselves. It allows them to open up in ways they might otherwise keep guarded, knowing that their vulnerabilities will be met with understanding and support. That kind of emotional safety is not easily found, and when it is offered, it is cherished deeply. But this is not a one-sided dynamic. When a woman invests herself in the interests of her partner, it often sparks a reciprocal response. He in turn becomes more attentive to the things that light up her spirit, the passions that drive her. This mutual curiosity and engagement create a feedback loop of connection, where both partners are continuously discovering and rediscovering each other. It keeps the relationship dynamic and alive, a constant unfolding of shared experiences and insights. Over time, these shared moments accumulate, becoming the foundation upon which deeper trust and intimacy are built. There is also an element of humility in this process. To step into someone else's world requires setting aside your own assumptions, your own preferences, and allowing yourself to be guided by their interests. It's a practice of listening more than speaking, of observing more than asserting. It's about recognizing that there is value in perspectives other than your own and being willing to learn from them. This humility is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. It demonstrates an openness and flexibility that are essential for any relationship to thrive. At the same time, this willingness to engage with another's passions does not mean losing one's own identity. On the contrary, it enriches it. By exploring the interests of someone you care about, you expand your own horizons, gaining insights and experiences that you might never have encountered otherwise. It's an exchange of worlds, where both individuals grow not only closer to each other, but also as individuals. This kind of growth is what makes relationships a source of transformation, a catalyst for becoming more than you were before. These small acts of engagement often have ripple effects that go beyond the immediate moment. When a man feels understood and valued in this way, it influences how he shows up in the relationship and in the world. It instills a sense of confidence and purpose, a reminder that who he is and what he loves has meaning. This in turn makes him more attentive, more present, and more willing to reciprocate the same level of care and understanding. It's a cycle of positive reinforcement that elevates both partners and the relationship as a whole. There is also a profound joy in the discovery itself. When you step into someone else's world, you often find unexpected delights, new music that resonates, a hobby that becomes a shared passion, or an idea that sparks your imagination. These discoveries are not just about connecting with the other person. They are about connecting with life itself in a richer, more expansive way. They remind us that the world is full of wonders, many of which we might never encounter if not for the influence of those we love. The beauty of this dynamic lies in its simplicity. It doesn't require grand gestures or elaborate plans. It is found in the quiet, everyday moments of genuine interest and care. It might be as simple as sitting down to watch a favorite movie together, asking about a project he's been working on, or joining him in an activity that he loves. These moments are not about the activity itself, but about what it represents. A bridge between two hearts, a shared space where connection flourishes. In a world that often prioritizes the big and the flashy, these small acts of attentiveness might seem insignificant, but they are anything but. They are the threads that weave the fabric of a relationship, the moments that remind us why we chose each other in the first place. They are the quiet affirmations of love, whispered not in words but in actions that say, "I care enough to know you, to see you, to be part of your world." This is the essence of connection, not in the grandiose but in the intimate, not in the loud declarations, but in the quiet gestures that speak volumes. It is in these moments that relationships are nurtured, sustained, and strengthened. It is in these moments that love becomes not just a feeling, but an act of will, a commitment to understanding, and a celebration of what makes each person unique. There is a certain profound elegance in the way people express their affection, often without realizing its full impact. Sometimes it's the smallest gestures that carry the greatest weight, especially when they are offered spontaneously and without expectation. A soft touch on the arm, a playful smile, a gentle laugh at just the right moment. These fleeting interactions often convey more than any grand declaration could ever hope to achieve. They embody the language of connection, a language that transcends words and speaks directly to the heart. For men, these moments have a peculiar resonance. They touch upon something deep within, something primal yet tender, something that reminds them of the joy in simply being. When a woman allows herself to be vulnerable in these small ways, to let her guard down and act with sincerity and warmth, it creates an atmosphere of trust and safety. It says, without ever needing to be articulated, "Here with me you can let go of the weight of the world. You can just be yourself." It's often said that men are simple creatures, but this simplicity is not to be mistaken for a lack of depth. They notice, they feel, they remember. They may not always articulate it, but they are moved by the subtle expressions of affection and care. A glance held just a second longer than expected, a hand that instinctively reaches out for theirs, or even the way a woman's eyes light up when she sees them. All of these moments are deeply felt, even if they go unspoken. These are the moments that stay with them, that they carry in their minds and hearts long after the fact. What's striking about these small acts is that they are entirely unforced. They are not calculated or rehearsed. They emerge naturally from a place of authenticity. This is what makes them so powerful. When a woman feels safe enough to be herself, to laugh freely, to tease playfully, or to express her affection without hesitation, it creates an environment where both individuals can flourish. It allows the man to relax into his own vulnerability, to shed the armor he so often wears in the world, and to connect on a level that goes beyond the superficial. There is also something profoundly humbling about being on the receiving end of such gestures. It reminds a man that he is seen not for what he can provide or accomplish, but for who he is at his core. This kind of recognition is rare and precious. In a world that so often measures worth by achievement, status, or appearance, to be loved for one's essence is an extraordinary gift. It is a reminder of the intrinsic value of simply being, a value that cannot be earned or quantified. What's remarkable is how these moments of connection often arise in the most ordinary of circumstances. It might be during a quiet evening at home, sharing a laugh over a shared joke, or in a fleeting glance exchanged across a crowded room. These are not grand, orchestrated events. They are the unscripted, unplanned interactions that happen when two people are simply present with each other. And yet, it is precisely because they are so ordinary that they are so extraordinary. They remind us that love is not found in the grand gestures, but in the everyday acts of care and attention. Men, whether they admit it or not, are deeply attuned to these moments. They may not always have the words to express their appreciation, but they feel it keenly. When a woman does something as simple as leaning her head on their shoulder or laughing at their silly jokes, it reinforces a sense of connection that is both grounding and uplifting. It tells them, in ways that words never could, that they matter, that they are enough. This kind of connection is not about perfection. It is not about being the ideal partner or saying all the right things. It is about presence, about showing up authentically and allowing the other person to do the same. It is about creating a space where both individuals can feel seen, heard, and valued. And it is in this space that true intimacy is born, not the kind of intimacy that is fleeting or superficial, but the kind that endures and deepens over time. The beauty of these moments is that they are not one-sided. When a woman allows herself to be vulnerable and expressive, it invites the man to do the same. It creates a dynamic of mutual trust and respect, where both individuals feel safe to show their true selves. This kind of dynamic is rare and precious, and it requires both partners to be willing to let down their guard, to take risks, and to engage with each other on a deeply human level. It is these small, seemingly insignificant moments that form the foundation of a relationship. They are the threads that weave the fabric of connection, the moments that remind us why we chose each other in the first place. They are the quiet affirmations of love, whispered not in words but in actions. And it is in these moments that we find not only each other but also ourselves. For it is in loving and being loved that we are reminded of what it truly means to be human. There is a profound truth in the way we experience the seemingly small, unnoticed acts of love and care. It's in these moments, often overlooked, where the depth of human connection is revealed. The world can be a harsh, chaotic place, filled with complexities and struggles that test our resilience. Yet, amidst all of this, it is the tender, quiet gestures that provide a sense of stability and hope. They remind us of the beauty that exists in simplicity, in authenticity, and in the honest expression of affection. When someone does something small yet significant, like remembering the little details of your day or offering a kind word when you least expect it, it touches a part of you that feels unseen by the rest of the world. These gestures are not grand or loud. They do not demand attention. Instead, they speak softly to the soul, saying, "I see you. You matter." This is an incredibly powerful experience because it validates our existence in ways that external achievements or material successes never could. The impact of these moments is magnified in a relationship. In the quiet rhythm of everyday life, it's easy to take things for granted, to overlook the profound in the ordinary. But relationships thrive not on the big dramatic declarations of love, but on the consistent small affirmations that say, "I care for you and I choose you," every day. It could be as simple as a shared laugh over something trivial, a comforting touch during a difficult time, or even the way someone looks at you with genuine warmth and understanding. These moments, while small in isolation, weave together to form the tapestry of intimacy and trust. For men, these subtle interactions often hold a significance that is difficult to articulate. Men, who are often conditioned to suppress vulnerability and focus on external accomplishments, find solace in the safe space these small gestures create. They feel a sense of acceptance, not for what they do or achieve, but for who they are at their core. This is a rare and precious experience, one that breaks through the walls they might have built around themselves to navigate a demanding and often unforgiving world. The emotional resonance of these moments cannot be overstated. They serve as a reminder that relationships are not about perfection, but about presence. It's not about having all the answers or meeting some idealized standard. It's about showing up, being there, and allowing your authentic self to connect with another. When a woman offers a smile, a laugh, or a kind gesture, it often has a disarming effect. It encourages the man to let his guard down, to reciprocate with his own authenticity, and to engage in a relationship that feels rooted in mutual respect and care. There's a natural reciprocity to these acts of affection. When one person shows care, it inspires the other to do the same. This mutual exchange creates a positive feedback loop, where both individuals feel valued and motivated to invest even more in the relationship. It's a dynamic that fosters growth, both individually and as a couple. Through this shared vulnerability, both partners discover parts of themselves they may not have otherwise recognized. They find strength in their connection and courage in the knowledge that they are not alone. What's fascinating is that these moments often arise without premeditation. They are spontaneous and genuine, free from any ulterior motive. This is what makes them so powerful. They are not acts of obligation or duty, but of pure, unfiltered love. They happen because one person wants to bring a smile to the other's face, to ease their burden, or simply to share a moment of joy. And because they are so genuine, they resonate deeply, creating a lasting impression that far outweighs their simplicity. These interactions also challenge the narrative that love and connection must be grandiose to be meaningful. They teach us that the essence of a relationship lies not in extravagant displays, but in the small, consistent acts of care and thoughtfulness. They remind us to pay attention, to notice the little things that often go unnoticed but mean so much. They encourage us to be present, to be mindful, and to cherish the moments that truly matter. It's these small, everyday acts that sustain a relationship. They are the glue that holds people together through the trials and tribulations of life. They are the quiet affirmations that keep love alive, even in the face of adversity. And they are the reminders that no matter how difficult life may get, there is always beauty to be found in the connections we share. These moments teach us to value what truly matters. They show us that love is not about grand gestures or perfect conditions, but about being there for each other in the small ways that count. They remind us that, in a world often preoccupied with noise and spectacle, it is the quiet, sincere expressions of care that leave the deepest impact. And in doing so, they challenge us to be better, to love more deeply, and to find meaning in the simple, profound moments that make life worth living. In the end, it's the small, meaningful gestures that create the foundation of deep connection and lasting love. These quiet acts of care and thoughtfulness remind us that relationships aren't built on grandeur, but on genuine moments of shared vulnerability and affection. They teach us to cherish the simplicity of being present for one another, to find beauty in the ordinary, and to value the profound impact of feeling seen and loved. It's in these tender, everyday interactions that the true essence of love resides, offering a source of strength, comfort, and joy in an ever-changing world.